It's Bernard Nomberg with the Nomberg Law Firm, and we're back on another Tuesday to talk with you guys. We appreciate anybody who stops by to spend some time with us. We were going to have Derek Walczak with his commercial real estate firm on, but we're going to push him back a few weeks. We appreciate that, Derek. Sorry about the late notice. But we've got something special going on in Birmingham we wanted to take a few minutes and talk with you guys about. In case you're not aware, in Birmingham this week are the JCC Maccabi Games, and it's a Olympic-style event, sporting events for Jewish teams from around the world and around the country have come into Birmingham for this week, and it's a pretty historic undertaking by our community. We've never hosted it before. In fact, I think Birmingham may be one of the very smallest Jewish communities to ever host the Maccabi Games. And it's a very cool week, and I've got a lot of good things to share with you that it's currently going on. We're in the middle of day 2 of the competitions, which go on all week, all around Birmingham. And the Maccabi Games started in 1982, so this is about the 35th year that they've occurred in the United States. They happen 1 week, actually 2 different weeks each summer in different cities. Different sporting events occur, as well as the arts, etc., in the 2 different venues each summer. Birmingham has, I think, 11 or 12 different sports, including dance and basketball, flag football, baseball, track and field, you name it. It's almost kind of like a Junior Olympics, if you will, for teens ages 13 to 16. And what is so cool about what's going on in Birmingham right now is that for the last 2 years of planning, it really has brought our Jewish community as well as other parts of the community together to pull together for what an awesome undertaking that's going on right now. Yesterday was the first day of competitions, and from what I saw, where I'm one of the venue captains up at Altamont, we've got some great athletes who are here in town, and I know that while the athletic competitions on the field are really just one part of the whole Maccabi experience, it really is what goes on outside the lines, I think, is what is the true meaning of the Maccabi Games and the true gem of what hopefully these kids who, when they go back to their respective cities, will learn and cherish for a lifetime. I know that at least the families who I've talked to here in town who are hosting kids, I doubt that these memories will really ever go away. I want to tell you a little bit about what's already occurred and some of the things that are coming up. During this opening ceremonies that were held at Bartow Arena, it really was an outstanding accomplishment that's come down, that came together. It really mirrored what opening ceremonies for the Winter or Summer Olympics looked like. There's 25 to 30 delegations who are here from different cities around the country. Of course, all the big cities such as Los Angeles, Houston, Dallas, South Florida, New York, all of those communities are represented. There's smaller communities or smaller delegations who are also here from Minnesota, Omaha, Nebraska, etc. Team Alabama has teens, Jewish kids from 3 or 4 different cities around the state of Alabama, as well as kids who have come from the Ukraine and Israel have joined the Alabama team. So it really is a very impressive group of kids who've come together. At the opening ceremonies, the honorary co-chairs for the event, former commissioner of the Southeastern Conference, Mike Slive, and retired former commandant of the Marines, General Krulak, symbolically walked the newly formed cauldron into the stadium and lit the torch, which was really a very cool event. During the opening ceremonies, we heard from Auburn basketball coach Bruce Pearl. There was a very touching and somber tribute to the Munich 11, the athletes who perished in the 72 Olympics, and many other things that occurred that had lots of meaning. Lots of ruach was in the room, a lot of spirit, a lot of happy things that were going on that night to kick off the event. It truly was a wonderful evening. But one of the treats that's been for our family is we're hosting kids who've never been in the South and never had any of the delicacies that we take for granted, such as sweet tea. And I'm hoping that they'll try boiled peanuts pretty soon, but I don't know if they'll be able to handle that. They've been up to Vulcan to see some of the sights around the city. During this week, they're going to have a very touching learning experience about Birmingham's civil rights history and the importance that it has had for our nation's history, and how far Alabama and Birmingham and the South have come when dealing with civil rights issues, and how they can hopefully take away a real learning experience from that. There's also, today is one of the Jewish holidays that will tie in with that learning that they'll have. Competitions are all week, which at the end of the competitions, medals, Olympic-style medals, will be awarded. And from a little bit of the sports that I've seen, there's some very good athletes who are here from all over the country. Very competitive, as you can imagine, how high school basketball can go, as well as flag football, and as well as many other sports. One of the cool things from my observation being at Altamont this week is to see how all the volunteers have come together and just done their part, regardless if it's picking up trash or showing visitors where to go within the facilities, as well as the host facilities being so gracious and opening up their places, the schools and the different places around the city. It really has been a major undertaking, but it's been an extremely cool endeavor. And seeing how many new faces come up to our school, up to Altamont, and watching the kids and participating. And I know I have some other things I want to share with you. That has been just a really a fun experience, a memorable one. Like I said, Birmingham's never hosted. Some of the big cities have hosted multiple times. But just to see how Birmingham has pulled together and put on so far such an incredible event. They've done such a wonderful job of it. The kids at some point this week we had host family night last night, and a bunch went and saw some of the sights in Birmingham. Others went and did bowling, pizza, laser tag parties. Also during this week, there'll be a huge street party at some point. Let's see, there was one of the very cool things that'll be a lasting endeavor that'll be housed, I believe, up at the JCC, will be the 10-foot cauldron for the torch lighting that was forged at historic Sloss Furnace here in town. And there's videos and articles that have been written about that if you want to find that. But it's going to be just a permanent reminder of us hosting the games here. If you get a chance to watch competitions or send your children who are Jewish to these events, I highly recommend that. Let's see, there's maybe a few other things to share with you here. I don't know if you're aware or been told, but the Maccabi Games in Israel were a few weeks ago, and there's also a junior version of the Maccabi Games for the younger kids who are, I believe, younger than college age. But Birmingham and Alabama sent 3 or 4 or 5 athletes over there, and I think most, if not all, won major medals and played quite admirably, quite well in their competitions in basketball, softball, and I can't remember the other sports, but I know that their families are very proud of that. My daughter Emily had a chance to play in the Austin Maccabi Games, Austin, Texas, a few years ago for basketball. And as they do, when some of the teams or some of the delegations send athletes, they may not have enough athletes if it's coming from a small community to form their own team. So one of the cool things is they hook on to another team or another city that may need another player. I believe Emily played for a Columbus, Ohio delegation and made a bunch of friends that way. But just wanted to take a few minutes to share with you about the Maccabi Games. It really is a wonderful undertaking for our city. I think the kids have had a lot of fun. I think at least our group are pretty tired, but they've met lots of new friends. And thank you for spending a few minutes with us. Next week, I think we'll get back on track with another area of the law And we hope to see you next Tuesday at